All right, guys. I think we're live finally after absolutely zero technical issues.
Zero.
Streaming is never hard.
No technical issues. Welcome to the Level With Me podcast. I'm LevelCap. Next to me in this direction is Matimio. We're super famous content creators. I'm sure you've heard of us. On the off chance you haven't, I make YouTube content. Matimio makes Twitch content. And now we're making a podcast together. And above us, waiting patiently and awkwardly, is operator Drewski, probably the most famous milsim content creator out there.
I feel so cool being called milsim content creator.
What's the other word,
that on
man?
my taxes job title. You know,
what's the other?
I don't know what I'd call myself.
Do you guys call it yourselves influencers when people ask?
LARPerators or something like that.
LARPerators is good.
Yeah.
But more importantly, the first guest of our podcast ever. So,
oh really?
You could put that on the resume. Yes.
There you
first
go.
guest of the Level Up podcast.
You're the first one to say yes, Drew. So I mean, it's been
you
turned
got
down.
a list of who said no, right?
Oh yeah.
That's who we're going to talk about during this hour-long episode here.
Yeah. We're just throwing shade. That's all we do here. By the way, just real quick, does anyone hate the word influencer as much as I do?
Yeah.
I hate that word.
Yeah, it sounds like we're manipulative.
Yeah. Like I get it at a level. There is like
an advertisement level. Yeah.
But at the same time, I just feel gross.
We're not here to influence people. We're here to make videos and make streams.
I like content creator way more.
Yeah, content creator
prefer that.
Makes sense.
I remember the day when there was like a community manager at EA who came out and started calling us influencers. And I was like, ooh, like that was the first time I heard the term. And I was like, this is definitely a marketing term.
Yeah.
They're like,
definitely.
These people make us money by influencing those people. So we'll call them influencers.
Yeah, it's very objectifying in a way. Like, I don't really care, but it's definitely a weird thing to be called.
It feels gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was, so Drew, I was thinking, I know you want to blab about Starfield and all that fun stuff, but I was thinking about how we met, and I wasn't sure if you remember how we met, because my memory's a little fuzzy on this, but I do know some details, and I wasn't sure if you remember all of how that went down. Digitally
or physically?
Digitally.
Okay.
I think I remember how we met physically. Intimately.
Did my brother or me send you an email and be like, how do we become YouTube? I feel like we did that at one point.
How do we become YouTube?
How did we become YouTube mans?
Yeah. Oh, for anyone who's unfamiliar, your brother is, I know his channel is Demolition Ranch. Do you refer to him as something else?
Wait, that's your brother?
Yeah,
Are you just finding this out, Matt?
What?
Dude, that's the plan, so that nobody, like, it's public, but nobody really knows because I don't advertise it very much.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So I'm Andrew Carricker. He's Matt Carricker. He's 12 years older than I am.
How is everything so connected? I had no idea. That's awesome.
They're the YouTubing clan now.
Yeah.
They control a certain part of Texas and YouTube.
That's how I think I first ever contacted you directly, is that we emailed you, and I was like, I think it was Matt or me. I don't know. This was almost 8 years ago, 10 years ago or something. And we were like, hey, we want to make a gaming channel. How do we do this? And I actually remember your email back, I think.
Oh yeah.
And you told us to hey, you should, try to focus on a certain niche of content, and you use Dado as an example of how Dado built his entire channel on Destiny and stuff. I think that's all I remember from that email.
That sounds like advice I would give.
Yeah.
I was because he positioned himself amazingly around Destiny. I was like, this dude's going to explode as soon as the game launches, and sure enough, he did,
And now he's like the godfather of Destiny.
Yeah. I remember the emails happening similarly, but I don't remember you on the email. I remember Matt emailing me.
It was Matt and me at the computer writing the email.
Okay, gotcha.
Did you guys have a channel at all, or
we had Demolition Ranch, and I was just graduating high school in 2016, and so I I was like sometimes the cameraman for some videos on Demolition Ranch, but then I wanted to make a gaming channel, and he was going to make, his plan was like, I'm going to have Demolition Ranch gaming or something like that. We didn't know what our plan was, but then it turned into just like, I'm just going to make my own videos and see if Matt wants to eventually play. And then Matt kind of just didn't ever go into gaming.
Yeah, he just settled for being a super successful Demo Ranch channel and veterinarian. Does he still do a vet channel? Is there a channel for that?
I don't think he does it directly anymore. It was a lot of work for him, like balancing 3 different channels or something.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Because then he also started doing like a house renovation thing too.
Yeah, I did a house renovation.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, he started doing a lot of different stuff and managing a lot more on the Demolition Ranch side. So I think most of the vet channel is like another clinic that was a partner clinic in Dallas or something, and they still rescue animals and stuff, I think. But I haven't really, like, I don't know anything about that anymore. It might be a whole different clinic now.
Interesting. Yeah, the first email that I got from Matt was asking if he could copy the green text that I used on my YouTube thumbnails.
That's so good, dude.
And I was like, sure, but I like, obviously, like, I took no offense, but I was like, I didn't know I owned it. So like,
that's funny.
It's like, yes, actually, now that I own it. Yeah.
Nowadays, you just see your exact font on someone else's thumbnail with the same exact format, and you're just like, all right, that's fine. Like, can't do anything about it, and it doesn't matter. It's everybody shares and takes and gives, and it's funny.
Yeah, we're kind of into like everything just starts to look like everybody else's content, like thumbnails era now, which is fun.
There's also only so many ways of making a thumbnail too, so there is that as well.
And making a thumbnail that people will click on. It's not like you can. Very artistic thumbnails only work for very certain creators.
Yeah. Yep. I just have lots of things that look like they could be breasts in my thumbnails, but aren't quite, like when you, like those weird, like knee folded photos and you're like, what is that? Is that old, somebody's butt crack or is that cleavage?
Battlefield 4 gun guide, and it would just have boobs in the background. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God, I forgot about that era of YouTube. You're right.
Oh, when you could just...
Yeah, it was all clickbait. I mean, it's still clickbait, but it was like extreme.
Oh, I thought you were joking.
I thought you were joking too. That level.
No, it used to be. I'm talking like on YouTube, just in general.
Oh, when there's just like the like crazy.
YouTube started Battlefield and Call of Duty streamers or YouTubers would do it. They would have like a girl in the background, just for no reason. It was that. Yeah. I remember that. Not you, of course. You're classy.
And then there's that weird era of the like. They would do like the Disney characters, and then they'd be like doing weird plays. It was like the content was designed around the most trending search engine optimization stuff.
Oh, I forgot about the Disney stuff.
Do you remember that?
Weird.
Oh, that's when the COPPA Act stuff came in, and then they did YouTube Kids, and they split. Yeah.
It was getting way too aggressive, man.
There was a lot of stuff like it was before Fortnite. I think it was like weird Roblox, like Nerf Wars, but then it would be creepy videos.
Really creepy.
They would be algorithmically made for kids,
but not for kids.
They'd be made to shock kids. And YouTube realized that, and then marketing agencies got mad, and YouTube's like, "Hey, we have to shut this down." So there were big channels. I mean, like 10 million sub. There was that one channel of that one kid who would review stuff, and he has like, I don't know, 40 million subscribers or something. That was a weird era of YouTube. They to be fair, with all the problems YouTube has brought me and everybody else, I feel like they've done a lot of good stuff too in the past few years, like cleaning the place up a little bit. I don't know.
Well, they opened Pandora's box, right? They created this platform. They had no idea, like, anybody can upload a video to the platform. Okay, now you have hundreds of millions of people uploading videos. How do you monitor and regulate that? Like, that's almost impossible. I think they've done pretty good, all things considered. Considering that, like,
for
you
the
have
most part,
half the world trying to exploit the platform, and then like a team of people trying to combat the exploits. It's like it's an ongoing war, basically.
Yeah, for the most part, I agree.
Yeah. Back to how we met though, Drew, there was, I wasn't sure if you were part of this like email or whatnot. Cause if you weren't, I thought it was a fairly sweet gesture from your brother. I reached out to Matt after a while, maybe it'd been like a year or two after he initially contacted me. And we were trying to launch Brick Vault, our Lego channel. And I was like, man, we got to get some, like, we got to collab a bit, get some more names out there, but there weren't really a lot of big Lego channels and they weren't really doing collab stuff. So I was like, maybe we could do a collab with Demo Ranch. And so I sent him an email. I know. Great combination,
like
right?
shooting Legos or something.
Shoot the Legos.
The marketing genius in me. Yeah, the marketing genius in me was like
50 cal round.
Yeah, but pretty much.
It'd be a good video.
Yeah, it would.
I'd watch it.
Have you not seen the video that we made together?
No, I did not.
Oh,
no.
okay.
No.
Drew, how have you not seen this? It's got like 20 million views, dude. It's like insane. I want royalties. So I sent him a collab idea, and it was like, the idea was to see how many, if Lego could like stop bullets. And so we mailed him like just this massive stack of Lego plates that were just on top of each other. And it was like 50 pounds of Legos just crammed together. We were like using a mallet to like whack them together. And then he shot like every round through them to see where the different rounds would stop. And it's pretty entertaining to watch. Of course, he ends with like 50 cal or something at the end, you know, just like
disintegrates it.
It did a pretty good job. I mean, it was straight up stopping 9 mils and 45s.
It's hard
and stuff.
plastic. You can put enough of that in the way. It's going to stop it.
But he agreed to do it in the email, and he said under one condition. I was like, okay, what? He's like, you need to like reach out to Drewski and collaborate with him.
Oh no.
And I think we had already talked a little bit at that point. Like you might have DM'd me or something, because I remember thinking, I was like, oh yeah, like I was already gonna like probably do something with him anyway.
Yeah,
we were already
first
chatting.
time we played was Tarkov, I think, was the first game we played together. I don't know.
Maybe that would have been a long time ago.
We played Tarkov when Shoreline released, and the game was really buggy that day.
I remember some of that stuff. Yeah.
So Tarkov.
Yes. Yeah, it was Tarkov that day.
Yeah. It really hasn't changed much. It's pretty much the same game. But I just thought that was, I was like, oh, that's a nice gesture of your brother who's just like, yeah, go collab with Drewski. And I was like, okay, sure. Like,
collab.
Yeah. I was like, why not? So yeah, we did some
nice
Tarkov.
of him, looking out for his little brother.
Yeah, I was like,
thanks, Matt.
What a nice guy. What a nice guy. Some brotherly YouTuber love. Or brotherly love. I don't know, something. So, Matt, what's new with you this week, man? Have you finally burned out on Starfield, or?
Well, I beat it, so
yeah.
I guess a little burnt out. I have a sad story to tell you. So I played Snowrunner. You know what Snowrunner is?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you haul giant. Basically, it's a trucking game, but you go through mud, and it's really hard.
Spin tires. If you know spin tires.
I do know spin tires. Yeah.
You spin tires, and it was great. I played it for about 6 hours, and I, was like, I want to play more of this. So I logged in off stream just to do like a mission. It didn't save.
Ooh.
Oh no!
I lost 5 hours or 4 to 5 hours of progression, and I was like, how is this possible?
What?
Completely took the wind out of my sails.
Didn't save for 5 hours straight.
So it's supposed to auto save. There's no way to like manually save that I could see. Like I checked, when you try to like leave the game. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just leave the game because there's no save option. And yeah, apparently it's a known issue.
Oh my God.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Well, that like will kill the game right there.
It
basically.
Does. I'm like, I don't want to do another 5 hours to get right where I was,
That's like a priority 1, don't ship this game type bug. Like,
it's an old game too, so
wow.
Who knows? Yeah.
That's like that thing new. Where like isn't it one of the like early Elden Ring or whatever those games are called? The pre-Elden Ring games, the Dark Souls.
Oh, what about them?
Like one of the first PC ports doesn't work without like a mod.
I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, those early ports
and
were
they
pretty
just
rough.
like didn't fix it, and that's just the official way to get it working is like use this guy's mod, and you're like, really? Okay.
I haven't heard of that, but I wouldn't be surprised because those early ones were rough.
Maybe they did fix it, and I'm talking out my ass here, and people are going to.
I don't know if either of you are redneck to this extent, but have you ever gone mudding before in an actual
No.
No,
I have. No. I went mudding on St. Croix. We had the cool uncle in St. Croix, and basically he just wanted to show off his new Jeep Wrangler with all the cool sound system and whatever that he just got installed. And yeah, we just went off into the jungle and drove through mud and up hills and stuff. It was cool.
Yeah, those Mud Runner games are like they're like the dream game for any person who's ever gone mudding before, because it's a game where it's just mudding. The entire game is mudding, and it's a good one. It's pretty fun, and there's a lot of different locations you can go, and it's a good time.
I used to think myself too highbrow to bother with those type of games. I was like, no, I'll just sip my martini and put in my monocle over here.
Play Forza.
Yeah, I'm gonna play Forza. I only drive cars that are over $500,000. Mm-hmm. But I found myself watching a lot of Euro Truck Simulator a couple of years ago, and I was like, man, I just want to be a Euro Truck Simulator streamer. That's my new dream job now.
I want to buy a wheel. I want the whole setup.
I want you could do it with VR too. Yeah, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that looks great. So yeah, I just had this dream for a while. It's I can appreciate it. Also, I don't understand the world of gaming apparently, because games like Farm Simulator or whatever they're called are some of the biggest
tournaments.
They're some of the biggest games in the world, and you're just who's playing this? I don't understand.
Esports? They have esports. Yeah, there's esports tournaments around it. They farm, man.
Get as much corn as you can. 3 months straight.
I think it's optimizing.
Don't sleep.
I think it's optimizing money. Yeah, it's literally try to make as much money as you can. I haven't seen any of them, but apparently it is a thing.
Crazy.
Yeah, those sim games attract a pretty big audience.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of farmers in the world, so I bet their kids are oh, what game should I get? Oh, there's one called Farming Simulator. I want to try this out. See if my real life skills go over to digital farming.
But if you're a farmer, do you want to play a farm simulator after you get done farming? I feel like people are playing shooter games because they're not shooting people in real life all the time. They're it'd be a fun fantasy to do.
A good point.
Yeah. Do truck drivers come home and play Euro Truck Simulator? Yeah.
They're kind of like RimWorld or something, and yeah, management games.
Yeah, I played Farm Simulator. It's fun. It's relaxing. It's very chill. It's not fast paced, but yeah, there's just a ton you have to manage and think about. And you have to buy different tractors, then you upgrade your tractors, and then it gets more, then there's the optimization of it. So there's a lot of game there.
I see Drew's gears turning right now. He's thinking about a deep dive. He's how could I?
No, I was thinking, and then the blood moon comes and the zombies raid your farm, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Do they have any modern zombie games where it's co-op and you're just boarding up windows the whole time, trying to keep
7 days.
7 days would be the closest. Yeah.
Yeah. That one's co-op?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty good one.
Nobody's business, but it's co-op.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a good game. It is. It's a lot of fun.
It's 7 years old at this point. Huh?
It's very ugly and very old, but it's very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Drew, I see you've been playing a bunch of kind of indie Milsim stuff. The zombie thing, thinking of zombies, there's is it called Last Light or Dying Light or
Beautiful Light?
Beautiful Light.
Yes. Yeah.
How was that?
It was interesting. I totally got into it by chance because a Tarkov streamer named Clean was the one who just invited me that morning. He was like, hey, by the way, super quick, I know 1 hour, there's a test for this game I want to play. And I was like, sure, I'll play. And then I was like, there's no way that anybody's going to be interested in my just quick gameplay. And I put it on YouTube, and then it blew up on YouTube. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. People like this idea. And it was a really interesting game, though. It's an extraction BR indie title where you're running around with Mark 18 short-barreled M4s all spec opsed out. And you're kind of dressed up like SCP operators or something, raiding a secret place that has monsters, and you have to grab the bounty in this game. Like Hunt Showdown has a bounty that you grab when you kill the monster. The bounty in this game is a UE5. What's it called? The super polygon technology. What's that called? Nanite. It's an
Unreal Engine 5 nanite. What are you talking about?
So it uses the nanite technology, which is like the hyper polygon count objects,
right?
And it's a 3D scanned cookie that is the bounty, the placeholder,
but it's like
bounty.
Photogrammetry,
it's a placeholder.
Real
but it is
cookie?
like, if you get close to it, it is like a 12K resolution cookie with the most insane bump mapping ever. And you can put your camera right up to it and you can get into the pores of the cookie. It is hilarious.
It'd be so incredible. Funny if it like lowered your FPS by like 10 or something. We have to have this high res cookie.
It's cool to be in, like, because when you're playing Tarkov, you're in Unity, and so the hill in the distance will just be like all black with weird lighting, and you can't see anything sometimes because of just like the bad lighting system. But then you get in UE5 and they can change lighting immediately. They can do a lot of things to customize the experience immediately. Like, boom, there's foggy weather, boom, there's bright weather, and they can change it around. You can see the sun flying as they're adjusting it. And also the undergrowth is very thick. It makes for good tactical gameplay when it's like, oh, I can actually hide pretty well in the environment. It kind of feels like Hunt Showdown's environment almost, but it was cool. It was and I think they're working pretty hard on it. They released a cool CGI trailer like half a week ago.
Yeah, I saw that trailer and I was like, what game is this? Wait, is this that little indie game thing that like Drew played a while back?
Where'd they get the money for that? I thought it was like smaller in scaled than that.
I don't know.
They had a round of funding, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe.
I played with their map designer who designed like this huge underground laboratory, and the laboratory was the same, I would say the same detail, like definition as like Tarkov's labs. It was very, very cool and detailed, and they did a really good job on it. So I was really impressed by the game. I thought it was just going to be a little indie, like asset flippy sort of thing, because I had never heard about it before. And then I played it, and there was actually a lot special to it that was going on. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Extractor shooters seem to be on the rise. That seems to be I don't know if it's going to be the next big thing, but with like Marathon and the ones that are out right now, seems like everyone is, and I get it. It's really exciting, especially for a content creation. Being able to have a match, you go in, you either win or you lose, or you have your own win condition and then you get out.
I was talking to Jack about that, Jack Frags about that in particular, and he said it in a really eloquent way where he was like, every round in an extraction BR has a oh shoot, I just forgot the word. It's it's in a song, a crescendo in a song, where at the very end it gets extremely tense because you're getting closer and closer to the extract, and players are hunting you down. Like in Hunt Showdown, they're hunting you down. You hear the gunshots, you hear them getting closer, and then boom, you're out. And it's even more powerful than like winning a match in PUBG. It just feels a lot more tense because you have to extract on a timer or things like that.
There's also more on like at stake too, for some of them at least.
Because you have that persistence element, right? Yeah, you're risking your gear. You might have found crazy rare gear. Now all of a sudden you have stakes in the game. You're like, oh, we can't mess around now, guys. I found the super high level gun or armor or whatever. It's cool.
It also just feels less binary too, because there are different win conditions, and you kind of set your own win condition, which I like. So it's not as hardcore, because like in Hunt Showdown, you can kill a couple people and then you're like, oh, okay, we have like no health, let's just leave. And that's, that can be a win for you.
Hunt is such an interesting game. I feel like artistically and atmospherically, it's like 10 out of 10, where you're just like, I love this world. It's such a cool idea. Oh, who's the cat?
That's cheating.
Chief. He's just bugging me right now. I'm trying to mess with him so he goes away.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
Oh, yeah, no worries. And then Hunt has got like the thing where progression in Hunt feels kind of weird compared to other games. And I can't quite place it because you have the different characters, and then you're like ranking them up and then they die. And then you have guns and gear, but then you also lose that. And then you can't quite take as much of people's stuff when you kill them in game. It's sort of like a proto, because it came out right when extraction shooters were like becoming a thing. So it's one of the first ones, and they sort of haven't updated some of those mechanics that I feel like could be more fun or something. But it is doing a lot better than it used to be.
It is. It's actually surprising to me how Hunt Showdown has kind of evolved with the extraction BRs, because like you said, it was one of the first, and I think it was probably even a larger budget than maybe even Tarkov was when it first came out, because it was Crytek's whole new baby to show off their engine. So it's kind of interesting how far it's come, and I'm pretty happy with like where it is right now too. It kind of has that sort of lightweight, weird proto progression sort of feel. But I also was just playing with another YouTuber, Windigoon, last night. I was playing Hunt Showdown with him, and it was nice because I said to him, I was like, yeah, there's no like moment in this game where you pick up something, you're like, how much is this worth? Should I pick up this or this? Because I don't know if this object is worth more than this one. And that's like all of Tarkov. That's like the biggest learning curve in Tarkov is, are screws good? Should I pick this up? And that's like the entire game. That's the meta of the game. Are screws good or bad? It's a current market price right now. The hideout is going big. So yeah, screws are pretty good right now. But in 2 weeks, they aren't. Yeah, they're not going to be anymore.
It's very light on the extractor. Like, you're not going in for loot. You're going in to win. But there is some loot involved. But it's very mild in that.
Yeah, it's hard to know where to strike the balance, right? Because you're like, do we want to go hardcore and then turn off the casual audience? Or do we want to go casual and turn off the hardcore audience? Can we strike a balance? I think Hunt is kind of striking a balance, because it's definitely not like an easy game. Like, I mean, you get owned in Hunt so bad.
One-shot kill headshot with most guns.
Yeah,
I think maybe all
they have done a lot to try to ease that, though. There's now a perk where you can revive yourself if you're solo.
We got killed by that.
Crazy.
Yeah,
we got killed by that a couple of weeks back when we were playing. I think we like killed a guy and we're like, all right, like wiping our hands and walking away. And we got shot in the back.
Up, we just shoot you in the
Yeah, I was like, I swear that was the guy we killed. What just happened? Oh,
yeah.
Brutal,
makes me curious to see what they're going to do with Marathon, because I don't think it's going to be.
Drew, what do you think they're going to do with Marathon?
I have no clue. I cannot confirm nor deny what they're going to do.
Really? Well, I'm going to ignore the subtlety there and say, because I don't think they're obviously not going to go as hardcore as Tarkov. There's no way, because they need to have a casual audience.
Yeah,
and
It is the biggest AAA game company to ever take on the genre. So it's going to be interesting to see, are they willing to go? Because what's attractive, I think, for these BRs is like is the depth, the risk. If you can get that risk feeling higher in the match, then the player is going to experience more intensity when they're fighting that final fight before they extract. You play a round of Hazard Zone right now, and you get 2 rounds, you win, and you're at the max level loot, and you're like,
what's Hazard Zone?
Yeah, what is this? It used to be a third of the main screen of 2042.
It's one of the 3 pillars, Drew.
Yep.
I even did a sponsored video for 2042, and in the sponsor video, I was like, "Yeah, this mode is a good 5 out of 10." Like, it is very, and they were okay with it, which I'm happy that they
sell out, dude. It's clearly a 2 out of 10, man.
Yeah, it was very dry. I was like, maybe they'll expand this in the future,
only with like friends.
Yeah, and the maps weren't designed around the mode, and they're very open. Like, you had the desert map, which. Dude, that map, and they picked like the area where Hazard Zone exists in that map is the open desert.
It's probably one of the worst maps ever made for a multiplayer game.
Yeah. Also, what's hilarious about it is it still exists, and every now and then somebody will post a clip on Reddit that's like showing how broken the mode is, and someone had the I can't think of his name, but the riot shield guy in the back of the extraction thing.
Dozer.
And he just killed every single person that tried to get in, because you can't kill Dozer from a like head-on angle. Like, it's almost
him.
Yeah, he killed everybody, and I was like, oh yeah, that's completely game breaking. You're just like, if a Dozer's in the extraction vehicle, good luck getting in ever.
And he also takes less explosive damage too. So even if you throw some nades in there, he probably will still survive.
Yeah, not that anybody cares about the balance of Hazard Zone, but it is funny.
Yeah, you can't put an extraction BR with the same weapons, the same perks and specialists as a battle like not Royale, but Battlefield mode. You just can't. That's impossible. You can't balance it.
Do you guys think that they're going to break it? Like, they keep alluding to this next era of Battlefield, reinventing the franchise, all this fluffy marketing talk.
What does that mean?
Well, I think it means that they're actually going to deliver different Battlefield games under different
sub-franchises.
Well, either sub-franchises or like, here's Battlefield, the core game. Here's Battlefield, the extraction game. Here's Battlefield, the single-player game. And maybe they'll overlap. Maybe they won't overlap. Maybe like, that's what I think they're going to do, because I think they're starting to realize that like a large portion of the Battlefield audience doesn't care about the single player. And some
but
of them do.
Do you think they would sell a full AAA priced single player for
maybe
Battlefield?
not. Maybe not. Maybe it would cost less money, or maybe it would be released as episodes. And if you completed the episode, you'd get a cool something in the multiplayer game. You know, like I think they're going to cross over a lot of stuff with like in-game items and, you know, do what Call of Duty is doing, which is like just tons of gear and stuff you can win from playing whichever mode, right?
Yeah. I have no idea what they're going to doing.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
That's my guess, but I have no official information on it, you know, like they're airtight over there. Not from my lack of trying, you know.
After 2042, I can't like listen to anything that they say and take it as like, oh yeah, I should probably think about the game differently now because of what they just said. Because they kind of said that. I feel like 2042 was also kind of marketed as a reboot, sort of, for the franchise, and that they were going to have Portal mode, and Portal mode was going to bring back Battlefield 3 experience, and it kind of like face value it did, but it's like, okay, Caspian border, but not Caspian border. It was just kind of odd. Obviously,
on paper, 2042 is an amazing game. If you think about it, you're like, Portal. A dedicated extraction mode and multiplayer with 128 players and like cool future tech sounds great to me. Like, on paper, it is the best Battlefield game, which is like why I think a lot of the marketing people and the execs were like, hold on to your boots, you know, like this game's gonna rock your world. And people working on it were like, I don't know about that. Like,
like, imagine if each season was one new map, or even two, because I heard that there was rumors there's going to be like 2 new maps, but they had to change because they had to rework the old ones. So imagine like 1 or 2 new maps, and then a Portal map, because then they just have to. I would imagine it wouldn't be as difficult to bring in old maps. So like Metro comes back each season. If we had one old map reintroduced in Portal each season, Portal would be incredible.
I don't understand why they don't do it. I think DICE is kind of like snooty about taking the easy route with stuff, where like Call of Duty's like, here, we're remastering this entire game's worth of maps.
The entire thing.
And like,
no, I think that will bite them in the ass a bit.
Maybe a little, but I think it'll help more than it hurts, because you're just going to have a lot of nostalgia fans that are like, yeah, I want to play the old maps again. And I would be that fan for Battlefield. If they said, we're remastering all the best maps from BF3 and BF whatever and putting them into the new game, I'd be like, yeah, I want to play that. Like, I want new content, but I don't want only new content. And 2042 is like almost exclusively new crappy content.
Yeah.
The maps, man. Whew.
Even like just playing, like, this might come to a surprise because I'm a Milsim gamer, but I've spent like 16 or something hours in Halo Infinite in the last 2 weeks.
What?
It's in a really good spot right now. Like, suspiciously, you're not gonna have to explain.
You're gonna have to explain.
New seasons have come out. The newest season added Squad Battle, which is a playlist that has Halo 2 and Halo 3 Forge community-based maps that they've added now to the public playlist, which is
so you just literally just hit play and it just gives it to you.
Yeah. It's like a whole subgenre of the different modes.
Nice.
So like when Halo Infinite launched, there was quick play, big team battle, and custom matches, I think.
Sounds right, yeah.
And that was 3 options on multiplayer. You literally got to the menu, 3 things you could play, and half the time it would even queue. Now, you hit multiplayer, it's like squad battle, team slayer, infection. It's got it's a list that you can scroll through now. And it's I don't know, the playlists are very dynamic. The maps are plentiful now, and you can play on old Halo 2 maps, and it's even bringing back people that I know are like arch nemesis of 343. They absolutely hate everything 343 has done to Halo, and they're coming back and they're trying it out because they're like, oh wait, Rat's Nest from Halo 3 is in Halo Infinite now. I'm kind of curious of trying that out, or like Valhalla, all these old maps. Nice. And I don't know, I feel like Battlefield could easily do that. Like, yeah, it definitely does not take as much balancing and R&D to repaint Metro and put it back in Battlefield. Like, it's Metro. You did it pretty well in Battlefield 3 to 4, where you just remade it, but then you added a few different hallways to like increase lanes and stuff like that. Like, maybe you could do some experimental little things like that, and they do that in Halo 2. They add a few like power-ups in different locations now, so it plays slightly differently, but it's also still going to attract the old audience back into the game. So I don't know, they could easily do it.
That's cool. I have to wonder how insanely hard the Frostbite engine is to work with, or what's going on over there, because the Battlefield maps look really good for the most part. Like, they do put a lot of time into making them look great, especially if you go back to like BF5 maps or something. They're like amazingly detailed. But if you've ever watched somebody like build an environment in Unreal Engine 5 or something, it's quick, man. They like get it down, and like you could probably build out most of the map in a couple of days, and then the rest is really just tweaking and testing. And for whatever reason with DICE, they're like, here's one map, it took us everything we had, and it's like every 3 months. You're like, really? Like, what is happening with the engine?
I thought the big selling point was the destruction too, and they're not even using destruction for Frostbite anymore.
Yeah.
Like, what is this engine doing now better than the others?
Yeah, and it would be more understandable if they had to create a whole bunch of custom destruction assets for each map. But even in the past games, when they did destruction, it's like, well, here's this building type, and we can replicate it 50 times throughout the map, and that's the destruction. We're going to reuse all the destructible assets multiple times throughout the maps, and they're not really inventing a lot of new stuff unless it's like a unique asset, like a big building or a bridge coming down or something. So it's hard for me to like, because I'm looking through everything with game dev sort of goggles now, because I'm just obsessed with Unreal Engine 5 and like watching people make stuff in it. Like, how does this take so long? How, like, you have this big team and like you're working on stuff, and it's like, here's a map.
We've always heard horror stories from Frostbite from people that worked at DICE. Also, like other companies, I think they make BioWare. They were forced to use Frostbite for Mass Effect. I think it was Dragon Age. And they hated it. Like, it was apparently a mess. And that was like 10 years ago. So
yeah, that was like, a huge problem for them.
Yeah.
And then there's this company, Bethesda. They've been using this terrible engine called the Creation 2 engine to make... Have you heard about this?
No, especially...
Have you heard about this game called Starfield?
Is this a new company?
Yeah. They came out with this game. I don't know if you guys heard about it. Kind of indie, might have flown under the radar, but it's called Starfield. And
so that's a sequel to Skyrim?
I think so.
Yeah. So. Thousands of years in the future, though. Did you hear, though, that if you're not able to run the game well, you just need to upgrade your PC?
Yeah, it's never... the CEOs don't understand the internet culture, man. You're just like, well, that's going to be a thing now.
It's a meme now, just upgrade. It's like, come on, man. I got a 3080 Ti. How much more, Todd? How much more money do you need?
Yeah, no, I got a 4090, and like... getting over 60 is trying for it. It's like, I'm really struggling here. You're like, okay, this is God tier PC. I can run this game that looks way better over here and get way more FPS. So like, what is Starfield doing under the hood? I'm not simulating a room full of potatoes, man. Like,
Battlefront 1 still looks better than 90% of games coming out right now, and it runs insanely well. It's just funny.
People, I think it's so. Have you been following what's happening with CD Projekt Red? Is they're switching over to the Unreal 5 engine.
Oh, okay.
From I think it's the Red engine or something, whatever they're using, their proprietary engine. And I mean, Cyberpunk 2077, 2042, whatever that game is.
2042.
Yeah. All the same. Yeah.
It's the prequel to 2077.
Yeah.
It looks amazing, right? It's one of the best looking games out there. Like you could make an argument that it is the best looking game. And they're like, yeah, we're done with the Red engine. We're switching to Unreal Engine 5. You're like, okay, if that's not a sign that like some other devs need to give up on their crappy proprietary tech, like, I don't know what is. At the same time, I don't want everybody using Unreal at the end of the day, because then Epic owns everybody. And they're like, by the way, that 5% we are taking, it's now
15%.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, it's only 5%. I think that's what Unity charges too. So yeah, I think
that's actually right? I don't know. I'm
really
surprised.
Not bad.
And you don't pay anything. You don't pay a dime until you make over $1 million in sales,
which is pretty sweet.
Yeah. So that's super good for indie devs who might not make $1 million, then they don't pay anything for it.
But 99% won't. So
yeah, exactly. Right. Like you make your little Candy Crush clone or something on Unreal Engine 5, it bombs. Like at least you didn't pay for the engine.
Right, but you gain skills that you could then maybe use for another company. They want you in their ecosystem. So
yeah, that's the other problem with, because if Bethesda was to retrain an Unreal Engine 5, and they've already said that they're making Elder Scrolls 6 on Creation 2 engine, which is just like either rebuild that engine from the ground up or just like let it die, But they'd have to retrain their whole team, which would be very expensive and it would slow down production. But CD Projekt Red is doing that. And I think there's probably pressure from some of the devs to do so too, because who wants to spend 10 years at a company learning a skill set that is very hard to translate over? You're like, I'm really good on the Creation 2 engine.
Yeah.
Well, who's that valuable to?
No one else uses it.
Yeah. So it's like, you can modeling skills translate over, but so much stuff has to be done in engine. And just,
even just like, I want to learn how to use DaVinci Resolve. And it's like, I don't really want to, because I'm already so far on Premiere, even though Premiere is mostly worse, I feel. I think
it's a toss-up, man.
Tough. Yeah.
This is really getting into the weeds of behind the scenes stuff, but like my editor uses DaVinci. I use Premiere. I watched a whole bunch of videos comparing the two, and like, I don't know, man. It seems like a toss-up. A lot of people that know both still use Premiere. And it sucks because DaVinci works with like AV1 codec, and Premiere doesn't. Premiere, and you're just like, why Premiere? Why do you make this so hard on us?
Gigabytes of H.264 footage over months of recording. I'm like, if I just could use AV1, this could be half the size. Just a codec difference could literally mean
Adobe is really slow to like adopt new formats, and it's always bugged me because when YouTube was coming up as like a thing and all the game capture software was recording in variable frame rate formats because they suck, and just that's what they do. You couldn't edit in Premiere because it would desync everything and it wouldn't support it. And then Sony Vegas supported variable frame rate format stuff. I'm like, this is a smaller product from a smaller company, and they're doing all the stuff that you guys can't do. And the official response from Adobe at the time was like, we're a movie editing software. We don't need variable frame rate format.
We don't use fraps.
Yeah.
What is that? Fraps. Yeah. Oh my God. That brings me back.
Oh my God. Just a very like sticking their nose up at like 99% of what people are using this software for. You're like, that's great that they made Avatar on Adobe Premiere. Fantastic.
Like most people are going to be using that. Like,
Yeah, great. You had a small team. And what about the rest of the world that's not making Avatar, dude? Like, come on.
Literally your audience.
Man, this is some entertaining podcast for people who don't edit video. They're like,
the funny thing is, I never used to edit videos. I didn't even know what was it? Deja Vu. What did you say?
Da Vinci Resolve.
Da Vinci. I've never even heard of that.
Yeah, that's the new one. That's the new one that's fancy and it has a lot of.
It's been around for quite a while, but
yeah, they're editing our Stalker fan film on that right now for like a year now, so that'll be a good one. But so Matt, what have you been playing? What's your main genre of games other than Starfield? What have you been playing?
Armored Core 6 was a big one.
Okay.
Incredible.
Respect.
They actually just came out with a new patch too that buffed a bunch of the underwhelming weapons, which was what critique I had with the game. Because there's a lot of underwhelming loadouts, but dude, the first day I actually didn't like it, which was a huge disappointment for me. Yeah, I did not like it because I'm a person who, if I go against a boss, like in Dark Souls, right? Let's just easy comparison. I can see what I'm doing wrong, and I can feel like I'm getting better. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. But there were bosses, the Sea Spider and Rocket Man. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I just felt like I wasn't learning the game. But then I tried out some other loadouts, and it was a night and day difference. I loved it. It's probably one of my favorite games of this year. Yeah, cool. So I had to, dare I say, get good. But once I did.
Yeah, FromSoft does not mess around, man. They're like, either you can beat this game or you can't. We don't care.
Yeah, you're just bad. You're just bad at the game.
Get
just
good,
bad gamer.
Noob.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is that they actually just nerfed a bunch of the bosses that I just complained about. So they also, I think, recognize that it may have been a little bit too hard. Yeah.
You're doing it wrong, Matt. You need to now complain about how easy it is for everybody else because you beat it the hard way.
Yeah, because I'm the elite, the few, the proud. Yeah.
You're like,
there was one boss.
Back in my day, this boss hit for twice as much damage. You kids don't know what you're playing these days.
There's one boss that people are stuck on. I don't remember their name because that gets into spoiler. Actually, I do know their name. I'm not going to say it because it's a big spoiler.
Robo Man. How is it a spoiler? Yeah. It's just a giant robot, right?
It's a spoiler. Okay. Trust me.
There's lore.
There's lore. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a big spoiler.
Okay.
It's a huge spoiler. But went in and first try, all my chat was like, good luck, man. Like, you're going to be here for a while. Went in, just did it first try.
Whoa.
I was so proud of myself.
Nice.
And I think it goes to the whole loadout system is that it really matters what loadout you have. And if you have the right weapons and you understand how to play with that style, the game becomes significant. I would say it's actually way easier than the Souls franchise, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's still tough, but like once you know how to play and you're using the right loadout, it becomes a breeze.
Does it get easier? So it gets easier as you go. I think a lot of those games tend to be like that, where it's super hard in the start and you're just like, everything's killing me and I don't understand. And then a combination of either skill, like your skill gets better, or you just get better gear and better loadouts and you start to understand.
And it was a combination for me. It was loadout, and then I just understood, because there's no iframes. In Souls, you're always rolling, and at the right second, you're timing it, and then you don't take any damage, which is just the franchise. That's like literally bread and butter Dark Souls.
Yeah.
In this, there's none of that. So you have to always keep your distance and make sure that you're at the right
when you say iframe, is that like the warning thing that it gives you? Or what?
No, iframes are invincibility frames. So when you roll, when you roll, you become literally immune to damage within a brief window. You guys ever play Souls? No,
I actually haven't.
Not even Elden Ring.
No. Dude, the only reason I haven't played it is because and this is the same reason I haven't played Star Citizen, and I told this to Level, is that I knew it would take too many hours away from just normal me, like my work. So
that's fair. No, it's
I didn't play it because I know that they're good games, and I know that I would get obsessed with them. So
I have 200 hours in Elden Ring, so you're not wrong. Like, the game is phenomenal, but it's long. But yeah, so the literally the way it works, you can use shields to block, but once you start to get more comfortable with the mechanics, it's all about rolling at the right time, so you take no damage. So like a huge axe will like come down, and you're basically getting hit, because if you didn't, you would take damage, but that iframe comes in and you're good to go. That's literally the whole thing. But that's not the case in Armored Core. So you have to keep your distance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I think I prefer that, to be honest. I don't play Elden Ring games or like Dark Souls because I know I'm going to punch my monitor off the desk. Like I just games where you have to memorize the attack pattern and all that stuff are just like drive me mental because I want to win the first time and I want to employ my knowledge skill. I want to apply my knowledge of like controlling a firefight to win the firefight. And if I lose, it's because they outsmarted me with like some cool flank. And then this is like, no, like you just have no idea what 50 attacks this dude's going to hit you with. And
and then they'll have attacks where they go like this.
Yeah.
They'll go,
oh.
It's ridiculous. Like, please just attack. The entire time you're just rolling, looking like an idiot the first time, and even after the 50th time, you're still rolling because it's still getting you. Yeah. I love Souls. It's my favorite.
I played the Jedi Survivor. What was the first one? Jedi Dark something. I forget. Dark Order. Yeah. I don't know.
Jedi Fallen Order.
Fallen Order. Yeah. There's too many Star Wars games, man.
Yeah.
And that one, my stream chat was making fun of me for like losing on bosses over and over again. I'm like, I'm done with this crap. Like and that's like Dark Souls light from what I hear is like,
it's like I enjoyed
version.
Them.
Yeah.
But I felt like they didn't have, my biggest complaint, especially with the new one, is they didn't really have it didn't have a flow to it. So like you're getting blasted by, blasters. And you're a Jedi, so you should be able to block it all, right? And you do, but once it reduces your stamina, and then once you're out of stamina, you just get hit. And so at harder difficulties, you just it never felt like you were getting into a flow.
I see what you're saying.
Being a Jedi, right? Because you would like hit with them once and you'd run away because you had to, because then like 20,000 blasters are going to hit you. Yeah. So it was a very strange balance.
Yeah, you don't want to run away as a Jedi. You want to run into the room.
You want to be
slice
doing
and
a
dice
dance between people. And
it didn't feel like that. And it didn't help that a lot of the weapons in that game, because they give you a lot of weapons in it, which is cool, or different ways of using a lightsaber. You couldn't block, or there was only one style that allowed you to parry mid-animation. So everything was you really had to think about when you were going to an attack, because if you were stuck in animation and there's 20 dudes all trying to hit you, one of them will probably hit and then stun you. So it was a good game, but it was a complaint that I had.
I actually didn't finish the second one. I just got bored with the story at just some point, and I was like, yeah, whatever. Like,
that's fair. I like Cal and his story, but that's fair.
I like Cal, but the second one was just going way off the beaten path, and I was like, I don't care.
That's fair.
I know the second one did not receive the same reviews that the first one got, right? Like it was for a lot of performance issues.
The performance problems were a big issue, in the open areas. Yeah, because it opens up.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's a good game. I want to clarify. It is a good game, but it's actually a game I recommend playing on a lower difficulty, because then it makes you feel like more of a Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Makes you feel like Batman.
Makes you feel like Batman.
I don't know if you remember that E3 conference.
I do.
Okay, good. Makes you really feel like Batman.
Yeah. Makes you feel like Spider-Man. It's the thing they always describe these games now.
That immersion.
Yeah. Well, there was that trailer for that like new anime game that looks just like Spider-Man. Did you see that one?
No.
Where they're like, the person's just like pulling themselves through a New York style city, but not with web, with something else, and people are like, so this is
not Attack on Titan either.
No, that would be cool. I would play that. Yeah, no,
there is
like
Attack on Titan games. I don't know if they're any good, but there are.
Speaking of good anime games, Matt, did you finally get Goddess of Victory Nike, or is that not on your radar?
No, I did download it, and I'm now level.
I heard you were a big fan.
Yeah.
You've maxed out all the characters.
All of them are maxed out with my wallet.
Yeah, with your wallet. You've gotten the highest level gear, which also is the least amount of clothing, apparently.
I mean, that's how it works.
As you rank up, the armor gets smaller and smaller.
Smaller and smaller, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I have not downloaded that.
All right.
For legal reasons, that's a joke.
Yeah, for the legality of it, yes.
For moral reasons.
Yeah. I cannot disclose any more information.
I want that game to be really like, I want it to be like a Dark Souls game that's like amazingly good.
It's actually really good.
And then people have to recommend it to you. Like, Drew, I'm telling you, dude, like, I know it looks like some sort of anime booby shooter, but like...
And it is, but it's really good.
And it is.
Yeah, it's some of the best gameplay I've ever played. That would be the best joke ever, is if they're like, we're going to do
the gameplay actually is really solid.
just amazing.
Some of them I hear are actually decent.
Like which ones?
I
don't know.
Name them.
Come on, Matt.
I can't name them. I just know there are some gacha games that are pretty good.
Just name them so I can like blacklist them and make sure like I don't see them on the Steam store, you know.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Well, off the top of my head, I literally have no idea.
So Drew, do you have any night vision are your night vision goggles within arm's reach?
I have a PVS 7 within arm's reach. My super expensive setup is not. But I've got this setup, which is my first setup ever. But yeah, it's an old PVS 7 cool. Cyclops with a Mitch 2000 helmet.
It's pretty cool.
No, this is a Pazjita helmet. But yeah, nods are fun. Get to see things in the dark. It's kind of a life hack.
So are you like full on prepper, or are you just like gear?
Life hack? Just buy a night vision goggle. Yeah, it's a life hack.
A life hack. No, you can get milk at night without turning on the lights. Like, what are you talking about? Life hack.
That's I loaned one of my night vision goggles to a buddy just because he wanted to try it out and he wanted to see if he liked this certain model or not. And so I gave it to him for like a month or two, and after like the first day that he had it, I said, so you enjoyed it? He said, yeah, it's like super cool. I was like, did you walk around your house wearing boxers with the nods yet? I was like, did you go make cereal in nods, or did you go to the bathroom? He's like, yes, I did. I made cereal with just night vision goggles on. I was like, I knew it. Cool. But yeah, I'm not to answer your question, not a super prepper person. I just like some prepper technology, I guess, but for other reasons.
Is prepper?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the world, you need your superpower, right? You need to be able to see it.
At the end of the day, it gets dark outside.
Zombies are going to show up. Are you kidding? I'm the first one getting bit.
Yeah, it's not zombies, Matt. It's the other people. Have you not watched any zombie show or read a zombie book or played a zombie game?
Those zombies happen first, and I'm going to be one of the first. Let's be honest. Like, I'm not getting to that next stage of,
Matt,
let's be honest, none of us are.
I don't know. Drew thinks he is for sure. He's building a compound in a ranch, and he's got night vision goggles.
No, I'm not building a compound.
His brother's got enough weapons to arm a militia, Have
you seen that YouTuber who's building a bunker underneath his house?
No.
He's literally building a trench system underneath his house. And he's not he has the house and he's just digging underneath, and he's built hallways, and he has a little room.
Did he get the zoning? Because I feel there's a lot.
He did it after the fact.
Oh, my
he's
God.
I'm just going to do it and then come in later and be like, so
that's
I want to let you know.
Insane to do that. The amount of gas pipes or whatever you could hit. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I assume he's out on a ranch or somewhere. He's not in a city. Where is he?
He's in a suburb.
Oh my God.
He's in Europe somewhere. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Europeans get a bit nutty with their prepper stuff. I've seen some European prepping videos where some dude dug out his whole backyard, and it looks like just your standard cookie cutter house on a suburb block, but his backyard he dug down 20 or 30 feet, and then he buried school buses in there that are all welded together, and it's a school bus bunker inside, and I'm just weird. And then he covered it with dirt, and it's a play structure on top. I'm you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy, dude. This is probably hundreds of thousands in construction
so much
fees.
Money.
Yeah,
these are just people that never found Minecraft.
Really?
That's what it is. They just never found Minecraft, so they just think that if they want to build something, it has to be in real life and not just in Minecraft.
Is there a prepper sim out there? There's got to be a prepper sim.
Yeah, it's called 7 Days to Die.
Yeah, closest to 7 Days or DayZ. Very simulator games. Yeah.
Do they make one where you prep before the apocalypse,
and then nothing
you at the grocery store and you're hey Sharon, she's why are you buying all that rice, or something like that, and you're no reason.
Project Zomboid is actually really good, and that is that is prepper simulator 100%. That is because you start at a certain day after the zombie apocalypse, so you can start pretty early, or you can start weeks after apocalypse.
You're not preparing for it though.
Yeah,
the zombie apocalypse is happening.
Yeah, that's
and you're
true.
trying to survive.
That's
but it is a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but that would probably be the closest.
I do like the idea of a prepper game that never has the apocalypse. So you're just like,
you're just building a house basically, or
which
a bunker.
is basically the real life prepper game. Also,
yeah.
You just spend like
I hope so.
stupid amounts of Well, I mean, it is until it isn't, right? That's the whole thing. Right? You're like, better to be safe than sorry. You're like, yeah, but at what cost? Like half your life and like $1 million? Like, no, not at that cost.
Yeah,
I'll just die in the apocalypse. All right, like, come on.
Exactly.
I have some water bottles in the pantry. I'll be fine.
You're set.
Yeah.
Speaking of dystopian futures, have you guys seen that giant wall city that they're trying to make in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah. Oh my God. You haven't seen that, Drew? Oh
no.
Like it's I think it's going to be like 100. Is it like 100 miles long or something like that? It's
something
going to be
insane. It would be kilometers, Matt, because they don't do miles over there. But yeah,
right. Well, I'm just okay. Yeah. Well, and then it's going to be like the height of the Empire State Building, and it's decently wide. It's literally just a wall.
Yeah, you checking it out, Drew?
I think they started
on a wall. It's a city
is a wall.
It is a wall.
It is a wall. It's like a skyscraper. Like imagine if you made the Empire State Building and then just kept extending it sideways.
Dude.
Yeah.
Only way bigger in every way.
When our inevitable apocalypse, whatever it may be, comes and hits, you
do not want to be in that place.
The next group of people are going to go and discover that and just wonder, what ancient technology does this place hold? Why did they build this? It's going to be like discovering a Halo ring in Halo. Yeah. Dude, that is...
It's in the middle of a desert too.
You know what that place would turn into? It'd be like that building in Judge Dredd. You know, the super complexes. That was my thought.
Yeah,
where they have like gangs and the crime is horrible, and like they just have like these intense cops that come through and just murder anyone who's like breaking the law. And you're like, all right.
The idea of it's cool. The idea of having living quarters next to businesses
and then parks on the top or something.
Yeah, like having everything self-contained, so you're not wasting resources and not having to travel, and like it sounds cool in theory, but good luck. I can only imagine the prices of just living there.
The problem is like the Saudis and a lot of those countries market a lot of their new construction as green architecture. But it's not really, because they're building this giant thing in the middle of the desert. And also they moved like a tribe of people or something like that. And the people that were protesting it, I think they killed some of the people trying to like get publicity out. So like, it's not like a good situation. Like that's what I read on it anyway. There was like, they were silencing the people that were pointing out the like ecological and like immoral aspects of it who live there. So you're just like, oh, okay, like they just want to build this thing. Like
they've been clearing their, so as per this YouTube video from, let me see, 10 months ago, they've already like cleared what looks like at least 50 miles of straight line, like maybe 100 yards wide, maybe, or like maybe 300 yards wide of like, it looks like 10 miles of distance that they've cleared perfectly straight for this project. That by itself is a lot of money. Moving that much dirt to the side by itself is
also, they're not close to anything. I think they probably have to build a rail system to like get all the stuff out there, because it's how else do you get it? Yeah, they could. It sounds like a BioWare game, right? A BioShock game where you're just in this like crazy city that's like
you might as well be on a different planet at that point.
Yeah, I don't want to live there, man. But
no. I thought it was cool, but also like
it is very crazy. Cool from an architectural like engineering standpoint. Yeah. You're just like, that's insane. Like I can't believe they're able to make that.
If they can pull it off, that's incredible. But I thought it was worth mentioning because it does remind me of a dystopian society where you live in the wall.
Yeah,
all I know is the wall. Yeah, exactly.
I was liking Maze Runner at first, and then it got Maze Runner-y. Yeah.
The books or the movies?
I didn't read the books. I started watching the first.
I was curious.
How dare you, Matt?
He's a gamer nerd. Sometimes we read
3 books a year. Okay, that's pretty good for
that's
a
not
gamer.
Bad. Yeah, it's not bad.
No, yeah, first Maze Runner movie was good because it was pretty close to the book. And then the books kind of got a little bit crazier, and the movies just went like Fallout New Vegas feeling. It was kind of weird.
I just didn't. I was like, I liked the initial premise. I was like, okay, this is fun. Where's it going? And then all of a sudden, you're like, a standard zombie apocalypse film.
Yeah.
I was like, what? It just went like Resident Evil. Like, what just happened? I'm so confused.
Yeah, there was a whole...
That's what you get for like a teen, like sci-fi romance thing.
I have not.
Not yet.
Silo is fantastic.
Is that Apple TV?
That's Apple TV, yeah.
Okay. I'll check it out after Ted Lasso, getting through that one.
Yeah. Basically, people are inside of a giant like silo. They all live in there, and you don't know why. Yeah. Very good.
I like
highly
that.
recommend.
Yeah. It sounds like Snowpiercer, sort of.
I love where the world is the mystery. I love world building, and I love like wondering, like, why are they here? Why is society like this? And the restrictions that they put on the people, and how it all like how society grows and changes. I love that.
Yeah. Drew, you watching any good movies, shows, reading any books?
Not reading any books right now. Shows wise, we've been watching Barry on HBO, which
I gotta watch the final season.
Yeah, Barry is a pretty good show. It has Bill Hader as I think I watched the first season. Yeah. And then we've also been watching
and he's
Ahsoka.
a hitman, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Barry's a hitman. We've been watching Ahsoka as well, and it's that's about it. We just got a Switch as well, so we've been playing Zelda more than anything. Yeah.
I didn't buy the latest Zelda game because I just knew I didn't have time for it. But
yeah, see, I made that mistake, and now I'm stuck on it. Mm-hmm.
You can't stop. It's like one of those games where you're like, oh, this is so good, I can't stop playing now that I've started.
Yep. I still don't know how they programmed that game. It's incredible.
Oh, like all the connecty stuff. Yeah. I like how people were just like, we broke all the like fundamentals of like how you're supposed to play the game because we made a machine that like solves all these problems. And you're like, yeah, we just cheesed the whole maze thing that you guys built, or the whole labyrinth, because I made a thing that flies over it and kills all the stuff. And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it is insane how big that game is, and coming from like the realistic shooter genre, going and playing a game that is as clean as that and not having any bugs for like
jank.
50 hours now. The jank is to like a obscenely small minimum right now in that game compared to playing a day of Arma 3 again after 10 years of playing and suffering. But
you got to give Nintendo some credit for like sticking to the old school roots of like, hey, let's just ship a game that's like more or less bug free. Because like Bethesda, like the joke of Starfield is it's Bethesda's least buggy game, and it probably is. But so I've still run into like 3 like full stop can't progress level bugs.
Really?
Oh, really?
I haven't had anything big like that, thankfully.
I had one the other night where I was, for the sake, I built a spaceship that could just like blow anything up, and I was like, I'm going to attack New Atlantis. Like you can start shooting the ships outside of the planet, and then they'll just send everything at you. And then the game bugged out and it wouldn't let me warp or land anywhere because it said I was in combat, but I'm like, I killed everything.
Yeah. I've been in that situation too. Yeah, I've been in combat. You can't, and you fly for miles on end and you're still in combat, and just, I
had also in the very last narrative mission of the game, it bugged out on me where like one of the guys I'm supposed to kill like just teleports inside of a brick or something. Like I couldn't. And he was just stuck in there, so I was just like, it was like playing all this epic music, and I'm like, it's the end of the game, and then it's just like he's stuck in there. Like, okay, I had like 3 or 4 of those during the like actual game.
Click tilde, and then it's TCL to no clip in the game. I'm pretty if it's from Fallout. If it's same from just Fallout, it'll be TCL to no clip.
Okay, gotcha.
TGM is God mode.
I was asking,
add item.
You just got to be worried if you want your achievements. I think you.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I was asking Morphologist how he got his really nice cinematic shots for Starfield, because I was like, I know about photo mode, but it's all paused. Like he got all this beautiful stuff while it's like actually in action. And he's like told me the console command for it, and he's like, but don't like save before you do it because it breaks your game forever. I was like, okay.
Oh,
that's funny.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's cool. I'll try that out when I'm ready to like restart 50 times. Yeah. Basically, your camera gets stuck in cinematic mode forever, and then you're just like, I guess I live like this now.
Speaking of the final boss, no spoilers. I talked my way out of it by just persuading them to not kill me.
Nice.
I went with the hardest. The hardest was like, we don't have to kill each other. And they're like, you're right. And then they left.
Bro, can we, like, no spoiler, can I rant on the main quest line for that game for a second? Sure. There's supposed to be these beings and narratives of incredible depth and knowledge in the universe, but their dialogue and the way they talk about stuff is so stupid and so shallow. You're like, how are you this crazy intelligent person or being who's like experienced everything you say you've experienced for like however long a period of time? You think you'd be smarter than being like, be like, just there's I'm evil. Yeah, either I'm evil or like you should treat others the way you want to be treated. You're like, that's your message from like thousands of years of like intellect and like absorbing the information. Like, I don't know. It's just really
the main story was a little bit of a letdown. I do think there was good writing in the game, and that was in the side, the big side faction missions.
I was reading a tweet online that somebody was like just ranting on the main writer of the game. They're like, if this guy is always in charge of the main writing for this game, for Bethesda games, they're all gonna suck. And I wonder if the side missions were like mostly written by other writers or something. Because I enjoyed the heck out of the side. Some of them are like so good that I'm just like telling people about them. I'm like, and then this thing happened, and then that, and like, I don't play video games anymore where I'm telling people about a mission because it was so good. Like, they had great writing in it, and then the main mission is like, do the same task 50 times, and then we'll give you a really dumb like.
What, you didn't like floating through orbs of light?
How many times do you do it, man?
Yeah, a lot. I think someone said if you wanted to max out all of the space powers, you had to do it 240 times.
Yeah, and you're like, is this fun? Is it like a good challenge? Like, is it interesting? No. And then also the whole mission, like the missions where you have to collect the artifacts are usually more interesting because you're at least like going down into some base and there's some side story to it or something. But then the ones where you have to get the power are like, just go to that and then walk into the thing and then fight the guy afterward. And you're like, what? How many times? Just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it over and over.
But it's going to be different in some way, right? Nope.
I thought it was going to be like a puzzle each time. It's not. It's literally just the same thing.
I know. You play Zelda, and you're like, every temple and dungeon is like a unique puzzle, and you're like,
Zelda's so good.
I have to like use my brain in a new way, and I'm learning a new technique each time.
And it makes you feel smart when you figure it out.
Yeah. You're like, good game design. I forgot about that. Good game design.
Yeah. I really liked one of the faction quests that I was on. Also, a comment I wanted to make from like a few minutes ago was that I think the side quests, the smaller quests, are written by one person a piece. And that's what I feel like they are.
It's a good guess. It's
so
they have less architected.
They have less hands that are like in or like less required structural mission or game design features. Like the main quest is like, let's go do this sort of activity and then this sort of activity. And they want to be dynamic throughout the entire main quest, while a writer on like a smaller scale mission, I feel like has a bit more freedom and focus. And so I feel like the smaller missions are a lot more focused, while the bigger missions are like, we're going to just try to force you to go and kill these people for no reason. Or like, we're going to force you to approach this guy, even though you might not even want to do it that way, because we want you to go through this level that we've built or something. So like,
they give you two choices and you're like, I don't like either choice. Or like, these both seem dumb. Like the good text line is stupid. And you're like, well, I don't like that. And then the bad one is stupid also. And you're like, I don't like any of these options.
Or it's all the same outcome. My favorite is they give you like 4 different options, but they're all the same. Like, if you really get down to it, it just leads to the same place. I'm like, what?
Dude, I persuaded a guy to not fight me. And it was like a bad guy. It was a big bad guy. I was like, I don't want to fight you. I don't want to kill you. Let's do this the Law and Order way, you know? And then he's like, okay, you know what? I get what you mean. but I'm going to go out like a soldier. And then he just fights me anyways. And I'm like, why did I even persuade you in the first place?
Did it give you the persuasion bonus?
How real life works.
Yeah, I unlocked a persuasion bonus, and then I persuaded him to not fight me. But then he's like, I want to go out in a warrior's death. And it's like, you don't have to die right now. I just persuaded you with the option to not die.
Matt persuaded the last bad guy not to fight, and this one dude is like, yeah. Oh my god!
Starfield.
You know what I think they were trying to do with this game, and you can kind of see it because the work behind it must have been astronomical. Is they're trying to get all the characters that are part of your little ensemble of Galaxy Quester people to
Galaxy Quest.
Have different reactions and evolve in different ways depending on the outcome of each mission. And you're like, that gets so complicated. That'd be really quickly.
Hard. Yeah.
And I think they thought that okay, the replayability of the game was you're going to be able to do it again, but this time the characters are going to do different things. And that probably just got way too complicated way too quickly. And then they just had to really dumb down a lot of the stuff because they're like, well, every time we have a mission with 4 different outcomes that changes the interaction of 10 different characters, now we're getting into exponential levels of crap that we have to do just to create all this variability in the game. And I think they might have had to just backtrack on that and give us a really mundane main quest.
Which is why Baldur's Gate blew me away.
Yeah.
Because all the characters in that are constantly adapting to what happens, and not entirely, but there's some major things that will happen, and it's incredible. Did you guys keep a companion with you as you traveled out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you switch them on the regular, or did you just stick with one the entire time?
Switched every now and then.
I stuck with one because I couldn't be bothered. I was like, I'm just going to stick with you. We're going to get married. And we got married.
You got married in the game?
I did get married, yeah.
You married Ko? Is that his name?
No.
Oh, okay.
I went with Andreja.
Andreja. Oh, the hot, angsty chick?
Yeah.
The dead-eyed, they're not hot because they just look at you and you're just you're dead inside.
They're scary eyes.
Yeah.
I just feel like they all have scary eyes. I'm like, why are you looking at me and your pupils are tiny and then your eyes are glowing like Anakin from Revenge of the Sith?
Well, she's from a death cult, which is all about violence. So,
she's seen things.
Yeah.
Yeah. She does some kinky stuff. We'll just put it that way. It's not going to be.
Funny thing
it's
is,
not going to be vanilla in the bedroom.
There's no sex or kissing in the game that I could find. Not that I was seeking it out, but I assumed there was going to be something when you get married. But if you do become in a relationship with them and you sleep, they'll wake up next to you and they'll be like, wow, last night I learned so many new things about myself. And I'm like, whoa!
That hurts me so much thinking about that because I know how those lines are delivered because all the lines are delivered horribly in this game.
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've been exercising lately because last night, oh boy, I was like, oh, okay. And it caught me by surprise because I wasn't expecting it at all. I just woke up.
Yeah, that's
from
the most awkward way to bring in anything sexual into the game.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, that was great.
Do any games do the love scenes justice, or are they all pretty cringe?
I mean, it's usually most of them are cringe because the animations are hard to make it not look jank. I personally, I'm a fanboy for Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate was nice. I like the way I romanced Shadowheart, and each character has different preferences for their relationship. Some will you'll bang immediately, and then others will take a while. So you might start with a kiss, and then it progresses until they get more trust. And then others it's very dynamic. So I thought Baldur's Gate did a good job, but it's always awkward to some extent because
because it's video game characters.
It's a video game,
just doing this, So
oh, your polys are so high poly right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever play that Terminator single player game from 5-6 years ago, maybe?
Where is this going?
Well, it has some of the best love scenes out of any game ever.
What?
And by best, I mean the worst. It's awful.
Okay.
It's the game concept is really cool where it's you remember Terminator 1, Terminator 2, where they have the flashback scenes to the war with the machines, and it's purple plasma rifles and chromed out machines that are like hunter killer tanks, like blowing everybody up. They're like, that looks cool. And they're like, yeah, we'll just make a game about that era. And like the actual timeline narrative stuff was really cool and tied into like the original movies in like a really clever way. And I'm like, oh, these people like are big fans of the original franchise. But then they like have you bed like 3 different characters throughout the narrative. I'm just like, this guy's getting busy. And it's in the apocalypse, right? So like this apocalypse is like everything's dead. And like you're being hunted by like Terminators.
Except for your libido.
Yeah. And then like, when it's a character that you're going to bang because everybody in the world is like covered in ash and like looks like they're on their last.
They're like perfect.
Yeah. And then you see a chick and she's got like all this makeup on and she's like super perky and wearing like tight clothes. And I'm just like, what in the? Oh, we're definitely going to bang.
That's what I would wear in the apocalypse.
And then they play, do you know the like Terminator 2 like song where it's like do 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 do?
There's no way they play.
They do an acoustic guitar version of that song during the lovemaking scenes, and the graphics are not good. And then there's eye contact with the character for like 2 minutes, and you switch positions. And then it's more eye contact.
Wait, are you like controlling
It's first person, Matt. It's first person.
I'm so
I made a YouTube video on it. You can find it. It's worth watching just to see that somebody actually thought that was like a good idea or something. As opposed to just pan the camera away. Just pan the camera away. But no, they're like, no, we're going to give you like 2 minutes of like staring into like an unreal character's eyes as they like bounce up and down.
As they jostle.
Yeah, as they jostle. You're just like, with the Terminator 2 acoustic.
That's hot. No, that's what I'm into.
Yeah, I'm buying the game right now.
That's what I put on, when I'm trying to.
Oh, it's on sale too. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, it should be free, to be honest. They should pay you to play it. Oh, man. Well, any last subjects you want to address here, Matt?
We went through all the ones I had. Except for, basically.
We checked out video game sex. We checked. Yeah, you had that all on there.
That wasn't mine. What?
I see your list, Matt.
I see it written down. Yeah, it says -Matt at the end.
It's weird how each subject is.
Yeah, I've always got to sign. Signature.
The subjects.
Yeah, I'm very proud of these topics.
Yeah, it has your handwritten. You faxed a signature into this document, Matt.
I mean, I'm old school. I'm 34 now, so.
Drew, do you have any exciting things going on in your channel that you want to tell people about, or any cool upcoming videos?
Not anything that's out of the ordinary. I'm just excited for Stalker 2, no matter if it's good or bad. That's my big excitement, because I played a lot of modded Stalker in the last year, so I'm curious to see kind of how it shapes up compared to the original games. And Stalker community hates whenever I mention this, but how it shapes up to modded Stalker games from 2007.
Yeah,
and obviously,
I think it's fair.
Yeah, the Stalker community will, every time I mention anything like that, they put me they put me on top of the fire. But I'm curious to see if the franchise will be kind of revived with this game, or if it's going to be a letdown. I don't know. It's a lot of development issues, obviously, with the Russian invasion of Ukraine and them having to move entire offices and all of them having to be relocated, and even developers going into the war and passing away in the war. Yeah. So it's a very struggling studio, not struggling, but it's a environmentally very difficult for them to make this game.
Yeah, and they've been hacked now too by Russian hackers and stuff.
Leaked versions come out because Russians don't like them because they changed the name of Chernobyl to Chornobyl, the Ukrainian spelling. So there's a lot of political stuff going on behind the game, and a lot of. It
sucks because it's like you just want it to be a good game, and it's not really a political game.
Yeah, it shouldn't be. Yeah. It shouldn't be political. It's a game about a fictional universe. So it's odd.
Yeah, I want it to do really well. Great. But it is a tricky situation because you're like, if this game sucks, like I don't want to rag on like these devs, You're just oh man. But yeah, also people probably just won't play it, and then it won't I hope it's good. I hope it's good.
I hope it has longer legs than even like, because I really liked Metro Exodus, but I feel like it just was super short feeling. Like hope that
it felt very linear, the whole thing. Yeah.
Even if it was open world.
Yeah.
And they're saying that Stalker 2 is open world, and from what I've seen so far, they do have, I think most of the locations in the new game are the same areas from the old zone. So I wonder how they're going to, because in old Stalker, if you never played them, they're like zones that you would play in, and then there's gates that open up to other areas. So it feels like an open world game, but it's not. But I wonder how they're going to stitch those areas together
now. It's like Starfield.
Yeah, how they're going
to... It's got the same technology as Starfield.
Yeah, exactly. And also kind of like Fallout New Vegas, how Fallout New Vegas had to guide your path in different directions, because if you just try to walk straight towards the strip, you're going to run into death claws. I wonder how they're going to block the player off from going into certain areas. Or that's just a whole big question that I'm curious how they're going to do.
Yeah,
with an open world now, because it used to just be like, oh, this gate's closed because we're guards and you can't go past. It's like, okay, what do I do if there's an open world now? How do I
go around them?
How do I get restricted? Yeah.
I would love it for somebody to make an open world game where instead of having a physical boundary, they used like really difficult AI to like kill you off at the edge, you know? So like but it feels more realistic as opposed to like, here, you're going to hit the invisible wall of AI that come and kill you. Like it'll just get progressively harder until you just can't make it any further. You know, like how cool would that be?
It's like, it's kind of like Sea of Thieves. If you go towards the edge, the water turns to blood and then it starts to dissolve your ship slowly. So like we've had PvP fights get to the edge of the map and it's a very tense battle as both ships are crumbling.
And everybody just dies at the end.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But so Stalker 2 is what I'm excited for.
I agree with you. I think that's one of my most anticipated games. And of course, Star Citizen, everybody's favorite game. We'll see.
These are all weird ways to say City Skylines too, but I'm on board.
Yeah, that one's going to be tough on me. I know I'm going to spend a lot of time on that. City Builders, man. You're just like, I'll play this game. You hit start play and then you're like, how did 20 hours pass?
Yeah.
You're like, but look at my cool city.
Yeah.
Look at the traffic.
Yeah. Look at the traffic. Your wife has left you at that point. You're just like, what?
honey.
But look what I built. Yeah.
Where's the kids?
Oh, man. All right. I think we got to wrap things up soon because Matt's got to probably eat and prep for his stream because he's a maniac. And Drew, thank you so much for coming by. Obviously, if you don't know who Operator Drewski is, he's a VTuber. Right? No, he's
VR chat all the time. VR chat streamer.
Yeah, he's a big-breasted anime chick and
a furry.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can actually be both, you know, which is fun.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite actually.
Where is this going?
Check him out. Check him out on YouTube. I'll put a link down below. Of course, we have our Patreon members as well. People who subscribe to the Patreon get to watch us do the podcast live. I've made some upgrades, which Drewski troubleshot with us when we were starting the podcast, but now it looks better for live and you can see all of our cool effects and stuff. And
and with the funding, I'll buy a green screen. Thanks, guys. Patreon.com.
Drew can finally buy his green screen.
Level up.
And you can put a green screen in your new house, Drew. Your new compound, your prepper compound.
Yeah, the whole wall is green. Yeah. All the walls in my house are green, lime green.
There are people that do that and I don't know how they live.
That feels very unpleasant. Yeah. Can you imagine how uncomfortable you'd feel walking into that house? You'd be like, am I going to die? Are you going to kill me?
Well, not the entire house, but like the room that they're streaming in. The entire, everything is green.
It's too much. Yeah. It's too much. Yeah. Matt, any closing words?
Well, I do have a list. No, I don't have any closing words. Thanks for watching. It's always fun. I always like this stuff. So yeah, thanks for being here.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. See you later.